over time,
it just accrues.
Over time, he accrues into that position.
That's one thing. What would you say, Dinnell? Because I just hoped, I think going into it, that like you'd see some sort of benefit initially, and it's not.
I was not thinking by this stage that we would be anywhere near making like any kind of money or great success. Like I figured it would be a long, slow grind. I had in my head like 5-10 years of like doing this before we actually start making anything from it. It's just whether everyone involved has like the commitment to keep going with it and keep going, and eventually it'll happen. I think it's just patience.
Do you think we do?
Do you think we have the commitment and patience?
No, do you think Jaden and I have the, like, you're thinking 5-10 years. Do you think we do?
Well, you're thinking forever. You've told me that you want to do this forever.
I want to do it forever, but like saying 5-10 years is also further than I have actually like thought.
I mean, yeah, I haven't actually thought long and hard about exactly how long we would all be able to. I can speak for myself. I'll keep doing it until it's physically like not possible for me to do it. Like I don't care if the money's not being made. It's not taking up so much of the time that it's taking away from really most other things we're doing.
Yeah.
So like I don't see why I would stop anytime soon. But I can't speak for you or Jaden. Like if things pop up and it all starts to go off, like that might happen. But for me, I mean, I think it's just long, slow grind and consistency.
I think it's just about
people will find us.
Yeah, I think it's just about like kind of riding the wave. You know, like we might have times where we kind of just need to work on ideas.
Yeah.
You know, like I've learnt through because I do that the other podcast.
Catching the Mind, yeah.
Yeah, for people who don't know, I do a bit of
plug yourself, Jaden's podcast. Might as well plug it now.
It's fucking cheeky flex. No, but with what I was doing with the podcast and stuff, I learned over time that you do start to burn out. Like we're on a good track at the moment, but there'll be times where we will burn out. Like it might be in terms of ideas or whatever, and it might be in terms of like, say for example, Borders Open. It might be that Ibiza trip where we just go away and just go, DJ with
whatever it is, yeah, holidays or whatever,
or just go hiking and finding yourself just for a couple of days to go. Okay, no, I'm ready to go again. Ready to recharge.
Yeah, well, I was trying. Go on, Daniel.
I was gonna say, I feel like the burnout stage kind of, if it was going to happen early on, it was during that. When we did the Olympians episodes, where it was like 7 interviews in a couple of like in a week, if not less than that, where it's like you really start to feel like fuck another one. I mean, it might have been still so early that I didn't feel burnt out by it at all. I'm like, this is a lot in one day.
I felt fucked by that whole Olympic series.
Like physically, but I didn't feel like I wanted to stop. Yeah,
I was wanting a break because we'd prep for the episode, we'd record the episode, and then there was the whole back end of that episode. And we were having issues with Wi-Fi, so we never had a location that we could actually bank on.
But it was because I'm curious.
It's kind of funny that
I'm curious to know, because I wasn't a part of that series. How did you not like run out of questions? Because when I look at it, I go, oh fuck, the Olympian series. Am I going to be saying the same question for all the Olympians that I'm speaking to, or do I accidentally say it?
I think
there was overlap. There was some overlap, but we
there would have been.
Looked a laugh into each of the people where we could kind of segue a bit. And you go with the conversation. We didn't have that much structured outside of the one we were going to do for every single person in terms of what we really want to get out of it.
Yeah.
Like you kind of go with the interview well or learn from that.
That's true. Yeah. Each interview was a separate conversation still, even though there was an overlap on their trajectory in life because they're all ending up at the same point, literally at the same point and on the same dates. But even like looking back on that whole moment where we had no Wi-Fi, where we like, if we were to fail, I feel like it would have been then, because that would have been the most likely point to say, we'll fix the Wi-Fi and we'll come back to it when the Wi-Fi is good. And that never even like...
Sure, yeah. At that point, you could have been like, too hard.
Yeah, that was the moment where it was too hard.
Like, it's just like, it's either going to be too hard or you're going to be like, no, we're going to take action on this straight away. We'll figure out what we can do and then we'll implement it in. But yeah, it's just trying to overcome these, because we'll have... I guarantee you there'll be hurdles. There'll be still hurdles.
Yeah. More will come.
I mean, this morning, the episode's that's going to be released on Friday.
Yeah, 3 nights' time.
3 nights' time. our camera. The camera.
Yeah,
turned off.
the camera fucked itself, but
It should be fine.
yeah, watch the episode. Fuck you.
Fuck you, camera.
No, watch the episode because it was a good show. It was a harder interview, but it was a good interview. So check that one out. But like, I guess it wasn't even a thought in our mind, like going back to that Olympic series, I feel like stopping or taking a break. And that was sort of, I feel like the second thing that I've probably learned from this podcast so far is that just the importance of showing up, even though it's a shit show, just being there.
Yeah. That's why I'm here on Zoom right now.
That's
It's
literally,
like-
it's
it's
true.
a
Another one of those hurdles.
Rock up where you can. Yeah. Like, unless there's a really like good reason, like you're here. It's like a job now,
Yeah. It's just we just end up here.
a volunteer job.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luke's my part-time boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, don't worry. I'll stick with us, and this will become the number one show in the world. I guarantee you
We
that.
promise. All right.
This will, if you're listening right now as a guest, you're listening to what will become the number one show in the world in 10 years' time. That's like if you're with us, like this is
Put
gonna
it
be
out. What do you call it? Those
like every ounce of matter in my body will turn this show into the biggest thing ever.
Make it a time capsule. You know when you get the old lunchbox and you chuck something in there? We'll put a USB recording of this
Dig it 10
particular
minutes, dude.
episode and we'll look back at it 10 years' time going, fuck yeah, the old Luke was right.
I'm just waiting for time to catch up.
What happened,
Let's
Luke?
fucking
I'm
hope
just waiting
so.
for time to catch up.
Yeah, like, I was
What do
like,
you-
what happened to Luke? He used to be so optimistic. Now look at him. Oh no, Luke. Okay.
He's sleeping on the streets, poor Luke.
That's like that. The comedians are like that. But is there anything else to touch on here? Like with that 50th episode? We were hoping to do like a celebration, but it's a bit hard when Dinner's in a different
Yeah.
suburb.
Yeah, I
Little
know.
party
It's-
popper.
The man had a coffee. Got a vodka cruiser in the fridge. I haven't touched them, so this could be the occasion.
Damn, maybe we should get some beers. Do you want to grab that cruiser and we grab a beer? Should we do that?
Oh, absolutely. You got to celebrate.
Yeah, it's
You got to celebrate.
Yeah, okay.
Guava. Let's
We're
go.
back. Cheers, Dinner. Cheers. Well, we made it to 50. I guess
Sapporo.
a Japanese beer. I just grabbed it out of the fridge.
Little sponsor. What's
Yeah,
this?
Sapporo sponsor us.
Sponsor.
What's that shit where you anticipate the future or whatever, you make it happen by sponsoring or promoting
We
new videos
we
out.
could do one of those. You know how Ronaldo.
Careful, like putting it on the bench though.
You
'cause
know how
it'll
Ren- yeah.
make a lot of noise.
You know how Ronaldo did the press conference? We'll just bring it out and be like, "Yeah, here we go, boys."
Yeah.
No water, beer.
Sapporo. Yeah. No water. Sapporo. But
What do we want to delve into?
well, yeah, I mean, do we want to talk more about 50 episodes, or is that we've
I
covered
think we've
that?
covered that.
We've covered
I think
50
we've
because
covered it,
that's
like-
a big moment. That's a milestone.
It's a big moment.
Another big moment was the US Open. There was the same number of, sorry, not the same. There was more viewers tuning into the women's final than there was the men's.
That's
17% more.
That's
It
massive.
was, I think, 2.1 million for the men's and 2.4 for the women's.
That's
It is-
interesting
I
because
know-
neither of them were
for those
big
who are
names,
listening,
were they?
For those who are listening, are more certain about the 17% more than the 2.1, 2.4 number. Just to
Get that
clarify.
out there. But there were two teenagers, two people burst onto the scene.
Yes.
No one wasn't the 19-year-old Brit or like the 17-year-old American or whatever,
Yeah, it
which
was.
is crazy. Like astonishing.
But isn't that interesting? I think like Luke was saying before, I think tennis, women's tennis, what they get paid in terms of women's and men's is pretty similar. Like the prize money.
Yeah.
Prize
well,
money, I think, a couple of them at least. Yeah.
But but if you look at other sports, for example, like women's soccer and men's soccer, they're like what they
Yeah,
earn
big difference.
annually is such a massive difference. So to see that women's tennis in particular is getting more views than men's is an interesting thing because we always go through the idea of no one. The reason why they don't make money is because people prefer to watch
don't.
men's sport.
that's just been debunked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I think, the interesting part because that argument is starting to be broken down.
I mean, I think with soccer particularly, I think that America, it's a similar situation where the women's national team, way more people watch them than the men's.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I believe that's like then the men's US team. So it's like in those kind of things, definitely they got to look at what they get paid.
Yeah,
And
that'd
then-
be interesting then.
No, that's true. That's very true. Because the first thing I think of women's soccer is I think there's a girl that's got like that pink dyed hair. I think she's the captain of the American team.
I wouldn't have an idea.
Wouldn't have a clue. Yeah.
Megan Rapinoe or
Yeah.
Rapinoe? Yeah.
Yep, that's the one. But she's more publicised than any of the other. I mean, what's that? What's his name? He plays for Chelsea.
Christian Pulisic.
Pulisic. Other than Pulisic, I can't name any other American in the side.
Yeah, no, they don't have many notable like superstars at the moment. Like their women will be much more popular and famous than the men. And like it's situations like that, it makes sense where you start to look at what they're getting paid because more people are watching them.
Do you think more people will be bringing that up and saying, and almost checking people that say, well, no, because men bring in more advertisers?
It depends because it depends on the sport. Because then if you go like football overall, the men's game brings in infinitely more than the women's game.
But people don't care about the facts, Dinner. Like people don't care.
People just like
they just want a headline to know that women's tennis is viewed more than men's tennis. That's all they want.
It's true.
But that's fine in that situation. Like, who's going to argue if they're the statistics of that thing? It's like, yeah, in
They
that
try and carry it
situation.
over though.
Oh,
But you can't. Like, that's not a good argument if you then try to carry into something where that statistics doesn't add up. I don't understand why you try to just falsify facts or anything just to support your point. It has to add up.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious to know is if we look at women's netball, for example, the men's netball that doesn't get like public.
Is there even a thing?
I don't even think.
I don't even think there is no men's netball.
Men are probably just too shit at netball to be even like.
But I'm curious to know is
worth having a league.
But I'm curious to know is
you're
if men actually if they became like a league for men's netball, would the women's netball like the association itself would they get concerned about that? I mean. Oh, how am I going to not dig myself in a hole for not?
No, fucking dig the hole. I'll give you a bigger shovel. Men are shit at netball.
If
That's
like,
not
say,
interesting.
let's
what it is?
Let's just say that men they come out, they play the netball, and they are a bit better. Do you think netball as a whole would fucking freak out because it's known as the women's sport?
Good point. I don't know.
Because,
like, I know what you mean.
Dude,
I know what you mean. It is known as the women's sport.
Even netball commentators, not like being sexist or anything, but they're all like female commentators of ex-players.
Yeah.
Like if you bring in a men's league, it would just be I don't know. Would it ruin it?
Well, if they brought in a men's league, don't know what's your take. If they brought in a men's league, I think the men's would be better.
I think similarly, but I think a big part of why what gets the views in the women's netball of watching it's the young girls coming up trying to replicate them, right? So they won't lose that base because that's their role models are still the girls playing the sport.
I agree.
The guys coming in, there might be more guys who start watching netball in that situation. That would probably be the thing, but I don't think the women's netball would take as much of a hit because all the girls growing up playing the sport who are looking for someone to idolize and mimic, they're still going to watch the girls play. It might just create a new market. I don't know if it take away from that one because it's such a strong core of female athletes, female viewers, female commentators. Like, I don't think that would change.
Yeah. I know what you mean, but I feel like netball is known as the female sport.
Yeah.
You know, you look at.
It very much is because there's not even a men's option for it, is it?
No, it's not.
It's basketball.
I agree with that, but then if you look at something like rugby union. Like, you know, there are female rugby union teams, but I don't think of that. The first thing I think of when someone says rugby union is All Blacks.
Yeah, not even Wallabies.
Not particularly.
Yeah,
I think it's because and you know, I speak for myself, but I mean, obviously the last couple of games we've played in the test against South Africa, Springboks, we've actually done it right. We've won, but. You know, obviously, it might have been to do with the influence of Quade Cooper coming back into the side, which is quite controversial. But I just think of All Blacks straight away because they've been a consistent side over time. And it doesn't come to mind, like the female side of rugby union does not come to the forefront.
Yeah.
But if I think of netball, straight away I think of Firebirds.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, another interstate team that's fairly well known. And I can't picture a guy in a skirt running it way up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't see
I know
it.
what you mean. Yeah.
I mean, come down to UQ netball courts on Monday nights, and you'll see some men flying around. Thank you, representing.
We
I
have
rate myself at netball.
we have a document that has the notes of things we want to talk about today, and we add things to it. And Jaden's added something,
I have.
and the sentence reads, "I got fucked by a staircase."
Nice.
How?
Yeah.
Dude, like it's
What happened?
first of all, what I'll say is 2021.
2021.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Anything-
can fuck a staircase.
dude.
That's all there is to say.
Bro, you
Okay, moving on.
Nah, look.
Into
Look, so I went
inanimate
away.
object.
I went away with a mate of mine this weekend to his family house down at Dicky Beach. It's like an old Queenslander. It's pretty crazy actually. So the area that it's situated in, they've got old photos that are sitting up on like framed up on the wall, and his house is like one of 4 that was first built in that area, probably maybe 50, 60 years ago. So it's been there for quite some time. So that also says about like the durability and the fact that it's probably
Old.
starting to crumble. It's full of the goods, the asbestos, or what we love to breathe in. But I was just walking down this staircase, and there's this one bit of one step that was kind of hidden away in the darkness, and I was actually thinking to myself, fuck, surely, like, hopefully I don't actually miss a step. Imagine if I did that.
God
And
damn.
I'm not even joking. Split second, I fell over, fucked the knee, and I got fucked by a staircase.
oof.
I feel like it's better to be fucked by a staircase than fuck your knee. So at least
Yeah.
one good thing came from it. Like,
And then
Okay.
the funniest thing, man, is because I now painted this picture of, oh fuck, we might fuck ourselves with this staircase. 10 minutes later,
What a
my mate falls over on the same staircase, twists his ankle.
oh, jeez.
I think it's when you have an idea instilled in your mind, is that when something will happen. Because I was saying to you before that it was in year 10 back at school. It was on one particular day, the sports teacher said to our class, "Now, if anyone fucks a knee, I don't want to fill out any paperwork. Fucking surely you can sort yourselves out." And he's never said it before, never. And then we went to play, I don't know what was bloody touch, that became tackle rugby, whatever it was. And then someone broke their arm on that particular day where he told
Officers.
where he gave us caution.
I've had that with golf, where you've got the lake in front of you, and it's don't hit it into that lake. And then you hit it into that lake,
dude.
but like that shot doesn't exist if that lake isn't there.
Yeah, it's
too enticing.
something. It's like what is it? You tell someone not to think about an elephant, they think about an elephant. You tell someone not to think about screwing their leg, all they can think about is, if I do the wrong thing, my leg gets screwed. You get so caught up in it, you can become on edge. And don't most injuries like that happen when you're tense, you're not loose because you're thinking about it too much. Like when you're loose, you're going with it. But when you're tense, you go down that stair extra careful. Oh, you slip, you miss. You're so caught up in everything, your knee's gone. I think that's science.
Oh man, I've got this fucking.
You're probably
Look,
right.
That sounds scientific.
I'm trying,
but it's
dude,
definitely.
I'm trying to be positive, man. Like
Yeah.
you're bringing me down. Come on.
Yeah,
I think-
you would just.
I've got this really funny golf story, going on for golf. There's this driving range, I think it was at Capalaba. Anyways, this might have been 3 or 4 years ago. And it was probably that weekend I was watching Happy Gilmore. And I was like, fuck, wouldn't it be nice just to get like a perfect swing across, hit a ball 200 meters. And I'm like, fuck, let's just try it. And I was sitting there and I did the full run up. I think it was probably maybe 3 or 4 meters away. And I did the full, and I was getting a few. I'm like, Dad, fuck, look at this. This is pretty good. And then he just wanders off, does his own thing. And then I'm just continuing to do it. And then bang, I hit the metal post. Like, how like you got those dividers in between.
What are you doing?
We've got an intruder.
Go on.
Ask Jessica.
You know how you got like those dividers in between
From the bays.
Yeah, in between each bay, and you got like the metal pillar. Anyway, I'm going for the full Happy Gilmore,
Annabelle.
and
I told you I'm
grabbed the glove. I got the club, and I just fucking smacked the fucker, the metal pillar, and then the club just snaps in half.
Oh god.
So I'm just like, fuck, what do I do here? Do I do the walk of shame and tell the office what I've done? I'm just like, nah, I can get out of this. So I hold the two bits of the two clubs now, or that are now two clubs together like this, and I pretend to go for a swing, and let go of it. And I'm like, oh no, it actually broke. And then to their response, they said, "Oh, it happens all the time." So whether or not people are doing the Happy Gilmore more than I think, or the clubs are just deteriorating on us.
Yeah.
Look, at every driving range, they tell you, like, do not do this. Like, it's always a picture of it. Do not do the Happy Gilmore.
Yeah,
like,
we fucking do
whatever
it.
they call it. Like, every single time, it's hilarious.
That movie must have fucked so many ranges,
bro.
golf clubs over
Bro.
so badly.
But they would have loved it because more people would come to. They'd be like,
True.
"Fuck, we'll sacrifice
You've got
10 clubs because there's 100 more people coming to the thing." It's
True.
hilarious.
Yeah, everyone's got to try out that shot now.
Interesting enough, we were going about this conversation, how it could have been easy for me to do the walk of shame and go to the office and say, yeah, I've done the Happy Gilmore, and they're pat me on the back going, that's fine, just give us another $80 and, we'll be all sweet. But it goes on to tell, like, when is the right time to actually lie to someone?
Whoa.
Like, it's easy, like, in a relationship, it's a fine line in a relationship.
Yeah, you look good.
But
You don't.
But in that instance,
Yeah.
it didn't bite me on the ass. It was the best thing that I could have done.
When do you lie? When's it okay to lie?
I don't think you can ever lie about massive stuff. Like, it's anything that's a big, serious issue. Like, you can't lie about that. Because if you ever get found out, you're fucked. Whatever it is, whoever the person you lie to, you're screwed. So there's never a good time to lie about something massive.
Okay, what about like small things where like the consequences aren't that big, but sometimes it's easy just to say, "No, you look good, babe," or not that.
I didn't hear you tell me all shit just 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I didn't hear you tell me to pick that up. Yeah.
Or that call never came through, or like what lies are okay?
All those are fine. They're fun. Like if you just messing with something like, oh.
What about? And now I've never had a girlfriend, so I've never been in the situation. But where your partner asks you, "Where were you?" and she said, "Don't go to this place," or "Don't go hang with this person." I don't know, for whatever reason, but just in this instance, like, is it okay to lie there? And I
think it's a fine line. Like, say for example, right? Like, say for example, if you're in a relationship with someone and they may have had previous trust issues with the ex that they were with, and it might bring up, like, say for example, you're planning on going somewhere with the mates, and it might be some restaurant that it brings up bad memories for her. She doesn't necessarily want you to not go there, but if you go there, like, it brings her back into that state. So I think in that instance, you could just say, "Hey, I'm going to
a different restaurant."
Yeah, Papa John's instead of. I mean, there's no Papa John's.
There's none in Australia. Yeah,
but you know what I mean. Like, it's in that instance, it's like it's a soft lie where that it's you still want to go somewhere because that's where your mates are wanting to go, and you're not going to bring it up to your mates or. My missus doesn't want me to go there because she's had a bad experience there with her ex.
Dinner? Is that okay to lie?
No, I don't see the point in lying there. Like, if it's going to upset her that much, that's something she's going to work that out. If you can't go to a place or you can't see a certain friend, like if it's an ex, sure. Like, again, I don't know why you would lie. Like, I don't see the benefit in lying. Because again, one of your mates posts on Facebook that you gone there, she sees it, you're screwed. Like, I don't see the point in lying.
Okay.
Like, that's in that scenario, because I don't think you're protecting them. Like, have you been in that situation where, like, there's been a place where it really triggers the girl? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if that's
never had
even
a relationship.
real.
No, I've never had that situation. Have you?
I have, yeah. No,
I'd be worried about that girl then. Like, if she didn't get triggered by just the mention of a place, unless it was a traumatic event.
What if she goes, "Don't go to this party because your ex is there," or something like that?
That's actually a really good point.
Like, and I've never been in a relationship, never been in that situation. Is that okay to go, "Actually, I'm just not going to go to the party. I'm going to go out to some other club."
That's actually a really good
point.
point.
Go to the party. Is that okay?
No. You just say, "Do you trust me or not? If you don't trust me, we're done." Like,
fuck.
Like, I don't get it. There's no point lying in these things.
But okay, who's that come down to? Is that her for having trust issues in you, or is it you for lying to her, even though you may not have even you weren't even going to do anything with that ex or whatever?
If you set it up early where you're lying about the little shit like that, this is always going to be trust issues then.
What do you think that?
Just complete transparency as soon as you're as soon as you're serious.
But what if? But
I don't think it's okay to lie. It's stupid to lie. I mean, I don't care if you lie.
I've got a good one. I've got a really good one. Here's a good example for everyone, regardless of whether or not you're in a relationship. So, say for example, you've double booked yourself on a night. So, say for example, like last weekend, someone messaged you and they said, "Hey, are you keen to go out, have a few drinks, have fun?" And you go, "Yep, let's do it. 100%, I'm in." And then you forget about it, and a couple of days later, someone asks you similar question, but you're going somewhere else, and you've double booked yourself on the same night. Do you not think that it might be worthwhile just saying, "Hey, I've just realised that my uni studies are getting a bit too much, getting a bit heavy," or "Hey, I'm feeling a bit off."
I feel like,
I don't know, how do you get out of that?
I feel like that's an easy one. You got to go with the first plan, and go, "Sorry, I've double booked," and hopefully you can bring that person that you were meant to meet up with that you booked second along. That's what I'd try and do, and go, "Can I +1 this person to the party, or did you want to come to the dinner instead?" And I feel like that person may not even be that interested because they just don't want to be around other people. Like they just wanted to be with you. But I don't know. How would you handle that, dinner?
Yeah, I would probably end up going with. No, it would be whoever I wanted to hang out with more.
Would it?
Just tell the other person I had plans with this. I have plans with this other person. Like I wouldn't bullshit. See, I have a fundamental issue with just lying for the sake of lying. Like lying when it's the easy option, where even if you tell the truth, it's not that big a deal. Like that other person, they might be upset for a moment, but if they're your friend, they'll get over it.
Well,
I don't see the point in the lying.
Well, what do you guys think? Like, how would you go about the situation? If you guys have an answer, just chuck a comment down in the section below. We'd be keen to hear, just the broader audience of what you guys personally think and how you would go about a certain situation like that.
Because I'm trying to think about it. Because you'd go with the friend that you want to be with. You wouldn't go for the first one?
Not necessarily. It depends on how formal the thing is that I've agreed to go to. Like, what is it? We're just hanging out. I'll go hang out with the person I want to hang out with more and tell the other person, I'm hanging out with this person instead. Like, the double booking thing doesn't happen to me that much. I can't even think of a situation where
this is interesting.
It has where I've forgotten about a plan.
This is interesting. I'm going to call a mate out. I'm not going to say his name, but as I said, I went away to Dicky Beach this weekend. But he had a plan on Saturday that he's going to catch up with someone for a coffee. But before that went ahead, he decided to say, "Hey, do you want to postpone that plan and then change it for the following weekend?" So maybe it's a matter of actually taking the initiative to reschedule, so that it looks like you're not just shrugging them off.
True. Yeah.
Definitely, because then it's like, well, what kind of friends are going to be like, "Oh, why don't you want to see me?" Like, what's like, they're going to say, "Oh, all good." I would just automatically shoot, my mate's busy. Like, is there something on he forgot about? Like, I don't get the point in lying about things like where you're going to be, like reasons why you're not doing something with someone. That's like, that creates trust issues. Lying about you look good in those shoes, babe, like just to avoid a little fight there where they know you're lying, but they want to hear you say it anyway. Like, that's different. They're small things that don't matter. But like, I'm going to be somewhere or going somewhere and lying about that. That's where problems are created.
He's ranting.
So we've got I understand the spectrum. So
skin looks straight, babe.
Saying you look good is on the okay side of lying.
Yes. Little things like that where you can just tell your partner probably specifically is just feeling a bit insecure. They know the truth. They want to lie from you. You got to gauge that.
Is there a lie that's one step up from that's still okay to do in your books? Is there anything above that?
Is there okay? I'll ask you a question. Is there a lie, dinner, where it's the best thing to do because it might bring up things that might make her feel like if she's gone through stuff in the past, by you lying about something maybe very minuscule, it prevents her from feeling those things that she still holds on and resents to?
No, I wouldn't lie. I would just say, if it had to be said, it would be said. Like, I would say it. If it didn't have to be said, I could say nothing. I would say nothing as opposed to a lie.
Yeah.
Like, I hate lying. I see it as like weak. Almost all lies, except a little one. Like, I see it as it's kind of like a weak thing to do.
Fair enough, yeah. Dude, it was actually funny. It's funny because I
gotta be honest, I lie all the time.
Do you?
Yeah. I always lie to parents where I'm going.
Or is it kind of like, I know
Yeah.
what you're going to say. You don't even tell me.
Yeah, it's who I'm hanging out with.
Yeah, it would be like if you're going on a date.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm going on a date.
It's because it also adds like additional pressure. Because if you come home,
so many questions. I don't want it. I don't want your questions.
But you come home and they go, "How was it? What's her name?
Yeah.
What's she like?" And it's like, for Christ's sake, it's been one date.
Yeah.
But it's funny because if you go on it, like the idea of like being completely honest. I can't remember what this movie is called, but it was made, I think it was early 2000s. And the whole movie is the idea of like everyone being completely honest and truthful. So I remember like this lady just rocks up in this guy's apartment.
Good premise.
What's it, sorry?
That's a good premise. But go on. Like, I like the idea for a movie. That's good.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. So this girl knocks on this guy's door and he's like, she's knocking on the door. He's like, "Hello." And she's like, he's like, "Oh, come in. Just 1 second. I'm just finishing wanking off. I'll be 1 second. I'll be down in a second." I swear to God, it's the fucking funniest movie ever. That's the
smart.
Whole movie is just like everyone has to be completely honest with each other. So like if he's like, "Oh yeah, you look pretty fucking fat," she's like, "Oh well, thanks very much. I'm gonna have to do something about it." Like it's the whole movie is just fucking goes off that.
Damn. I mean,
that's funny lying about that. That's good.
That lie would come up a lot. I think there's lies that, like, just hearing that.
I'm watching. Yeah. Imagine that. Sorry,
Actually,
Mum.
that's one thing.
Could you imagine?
Maybe that's something I lie about. Yeah.
Imagine that, like before you go to bed, like if you're still living at your parents' house, you just like knock on your parents' door. "Oh, what's going on? Oh, just 1 second, just letting you know that I might be a bit loud tonight. I've just I've just renewed my Pornhub subscription."
Yeah. Actually, on the movies, Mr. Beast, Jimmy Donaldson did an interview with Colin Samir, two guys on YouTube that I follow, and he spends $4 million a month on making YouTube videos.
That's fucked.
On his weekly uploads, $4 million a month. Like that's a movie budget.
So he makes
each week.
He makes enough money to spend that amount. Okay.
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
As a YouTuber.
Yeah, that's the crazy.
That's
part.
what, $56 million a year on just creating his videos.
I think it's $48 million a year, so it's just less than $1 million a week.
But I can't do maths. Yeah, 48. Yeah.
Yeah, your math was off. I didn't want to point that out.
Considering
you've been teaching for
I'm teaching children.
Week,
I'm teaching children. Unbelievable. Anyway.
That's why we have calculators on the phone, Matt.
Yeah. That's why we're getting dumber.
Yeah,
Dude, but that's
crazy.
That's nuts.
Crazy.
Yeah, but because that money has to get made, and he was telling a story of he did a giveaway where he gave away houses, and he gave away $1 million worth of houses. So that cost of that video is $1 million, and then the staff, the editors, and the equipment. I think the cameras and stuff. He was saying that was $300K. So the cost of that video was $1.3 million. Wow. He made a loss on that video. It only brought in $500,000. So that's an $800K loss on one weekly on 1 week.
Because and then you were saying and in comparison to this, you were saying what was it?
Movies.
2011.
Yeah, Insidious.
1 million.
They used $1 million. Yeah.
That's incredible. And I'm curious because it's like what would happen if YouTube shut down? Would Mr. Beast because of his spendings? Would Mr. Beast have an emergency like account for that instance to occur? Because I always wonder. It's like TikTokers are doing really well. Yeah, fuck yeah, we've got 5.2 million views. You got I don't know how many. Mr. Beast has got like 20 million.
I think he's at 70 million
so, okay,
subs.
There you go. I'm well off. But
he's crushing. Doing, but what does happen if YouTube shuts down?
That's what I'm saying. Like if he's got 70 million subscribers, YouTube shuts down. All his focus at the moment is using that platform itself. Would it be more of a fact of where can we go next? Like, where would they go? Where would they
people would come over.
Would they then just jump onto TikTok and start making 60-second videos instead of?
I feel like
Twitch.
Yeah, I feel like Mr. Beast will have an audience. He's established enough, like very well established, should I say? But that's a concern though. Yeah, what happens when that?
Yeah. We underestimate how much YouTube is probably. If he left that, it's probably 50% of people go. How many people would just watch it because of the convenience of it just popping up in your feed while you're just scrolling through YouTube?
And that's
majority, that's got to be the majority, yeah.
For sure.
What does he make a year? Do we know? There's any estimates or
apparently,
it's impossible to know?
Yeah, I think it's impossible to know. He lives a very modest life, he says, and all his money goes back into his videos because, quote unquote, he just wants to make the best YouTube videos. So I don't think he's taking that much profit.
I honestly think he's a very genuine sort of down to earth sort of guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets. I don't think his drive is to make money, but at the same time, the fact that he is making money, he wants to put it back into the community for the right reasons.
That's what it seems like. But $1 million was used to make Insidious, which is one of the bigger blockbuster movies.
When it came out, it was a big deal. Yeah, people love that movie.
Same budget. So he's making every week he's making a movie each week. Do you go actually, I'm pulling the audience. Do I just make a movie?
Does that
he's making an indie flick every week.
Does that put more pressure on him though? Because would the audience expect, I'm expecting to put 4 or 5 million into this video to do something more extravagant? Does that put more additional pressure onto what he's trying to achieve?
I think so.
For sure.
You would think so.
You can't step back and start just normal vlogging.
Because if he goes from spending $1 million in a video on houses, and then his next episode is, let's do coffee reviews, and go to 5 or 6 different cafes and rate the cafe, the coffee itself, I don't think it would be well received.
Yeah, he can't take a step back. Yeah,
you can't. You'll lose half your people. There'll be the core people who love him, who'll watch it, but you'll lose a lot of people. You've just got to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and grander until it falls apart. Which that's actually quite. That's quite sad.
It's going to be
collapses in on itself.
He's gonna have to
give away 100 million.
He's gonna have to probably trying to assassinate Donald Trump or something to stick to that would be his biggest goal, try to assassinate or try to do something where it just seems that out of reach. Yeah.
But he's smart. Does he have second channels and stuff where he does tamer content? So he's slowly built up that other shit. So
he's got other channels.
Have to do the extravagant things.
Yeah, but he still relies on YouTube.
That's it.
Yeah, of course, YouTube. Yeah.
And it's interesting enough as well because you see with social media like Instagram, the influencers would have a massive impact on them.
Oh yeah.
But I look at you're looking at trending feed. You look at good dinner. I knew this would irritate you because especially you and your level of patience at the moment is a little low. I mean, you're coming out of lockdown on Wednesday, so take a deep breath, mate. Let's delve into this.
Sorry.
Let's delve into this topic, all right? This if you need to take a break.
3 days of yoga. I need 3 days of straight yoga.
Yeah, a bit of yoga. So with social media, like on Instagram, you look at the trending feed and you look at a photo and there's an attractive girl or whatever it may be. But you look at the caption and the caption is so irrelevant to what they're trying to portray. And it's interesting because you look at a girl, I mean, I'm sounding pretty sexy, I'm just specifically using the example, but there's some other examples as well. But you look at a girl at the beach and she's got, half her ass hanging out and then the caption is, God, I love McDonald's. God,
thinking about McDonald's or
it's
something.
I would love a Big Mac right now. And it's her sitting on the beach with Tiger Lily togs on or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Such bullshit.
Where do those captions come from?
Oh, the captions, it's just do you think it's a game to them where it's I want to just a caption that people are going to look at and think, that's nothing to do with what she's talking about? Spark outrage? Or do you think when it comes to the Gandhi, the hippie yoga quotes or whatever, I think those people just think they're doing a good thing. Spread the message while having a photo of myself.
it's interesting
I
because
don't
like it's
feel
like
so.
it's because it's
Yeah.
interesting, man. Because it's kind of like, when did captions become such an important thing? Because
Do
for
you
me,
read the captions? Do you read the captions when you see like a picture of like a hot chick? Do you read the caption,
I
or
personally
do you just
don't.
keep scrolling? Yeah,
I
because
I personally don't, but I know a lot of people take note of that, and they create something, very outlandish to gain views, and I think, like you said, it might be something that is so irrelevant to the photo itself, but from that it has people scratching their heads going, oh, what the fuck's this about? And then they'll show someone else, and they'll show someone else. So I don't know if it's a matter of, oh, I know everyone else has taken this caption. So easy for me to do that, or do I just say something that's completely irrelevant to the photo that people will go, "What the fuck? No one's ever used that before," but I'm just going to use it to make it my own.
that's kind of it. They have the good idea, but they don't have the like creativity to create the thing that's going to represent the photo or the caption. Sorry, accurately. So just a selfie of me because I'm attractive. People will look at that at least and see my message.
Well,
I wonder if that's it.
and going back to honesty, what we are talking before. If people were completely honest in their captions, say for example, so there's a tradie working, on a hard day in the sun, and you just take a photo, like nice selfie, just like, oh yeah, hard yakker at work. Like, people are like, oh, what the fuck, this is boring as shit. But like, if he says something, if he quotes something that sounds very inspiring or uplifting, it then boosts his persona per se.
Yeah, it's like but it's a tough one because if you're trying to be funny with it, I'm all for it. Like if you're doing like a Gandhi quote with you like mowing the lawn or something, it just makes no sense. But if like you can tell you're trying to be funny with it, if I laugh, I'm like, okay, that's funny. If I'm laughing because it's like you clearly just did this because I don't know, you like the quote. But then why do I have a problem with that? This is where I start looking at myself like, why do I care? Why do I get angry about like it's a new thing me getting angry about because I used to be calm.
I think we
But it's like, yeah.
I think we get agitated about dinner because it's just like people are using other people's quotes
That's probably it.
to gain attention. But it's kind of like, if you look back at other platforms, you look at TikTok, you look at certain comedians and people dub over like a certain segment that comedian uses on their show, and they use it to gain views. And it's kind of like, where's the originality coming from? Is it the same thing as using someone else's quote and putting it in as your own caption to get exposure on Instagram as an influencer?
Yeah, I think you've nailed it on the head there. Where it's like, that's not your content. If you're not quoting them saying by this person, like, yeah, you are too lazy to come up with your own quote or creativity and try to mimic it as or pass off as your own for your own selfish gain.
I mean, where do you see?
That's probably all the issues with it. Yeah, where you're like, you didn't create that, but you're using it to make yourself grow. Like, you have a bit of a problem with that. I don't know. I don't know why it makes you grow, but yeah, it's a tough one, Luke. Luke, you graded TikTok infamy by sharing a Conor McGregor thing.
I sort of missed the first part of it, but TikTok is one of those.
Yeah, we're kind of talking about like using, like, say for example, in caption on Instagram, using someone else's quote, or a caption that will gain attention, to get exposure, and for TikTok instance, using someone else's content and dubbing it into your own video.
I mean, power to them. It's weird because TikTok rewards content that's not even original.
Yeah, like that was the thing. I think you did it because you're like,
you got a better chance
to go on this platform. Yeah,
you got a better chance of going viral with someone else's content, or using a piece of that, whether it's the dance, whether it's stitching with something else, than coming up with something like. And why reinvent the wheel? That's one of the point. And power to you if that's how you make a name for yourself. It's all equal. Anyone can go viral just as much as the next person can. So I think power to you.
So you think if it works for you and it becomes a part of your niche, then why change?
Yeah. Like, if you want to, use it. It's available, use it.
And if you have the backing, like if you have content that you can create yourself later on once you've got the people, then I think it's like, that's all right because you've at least got something to go on. If all you're doing is copying and resharing other people's shit, I don't think that has longevity. So you're probably not going to end up making anything from that. You just do want to blow it up. I mean, TikTok's a platform where they, like, the stitching's the thing, where, like, literally they want you to use everyone else's content to grow your own content, but at least you're putting something over it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird because we're used to rewarding unique content, where it's now like we just share the good content with each other. Keep regurgitating that.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with that because sometimes people we just follow the trend. You know, like if we notice that if in TikTok people are using like a very sad orchestral sort of song, and that's gaining views. If you're wanting to get people, if you wanted to gain, attention from people that might have an interest in that, you're probably more inclined to use that particular song.
Yeah.
And again, power to the people. You follow that, and there's no other words to say that from there.
Thanks for tuning in. That's episode 50. That is it.
Done.
That's where the champagne flies and the poppers go off. Thanks for continuing to listen. We'll see you at 100.